Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Grab something to sip on while we have a little conversation. I have some coffee here. So what I want to talk about today is just some thoughts I've been having on online dating and online dating in your 50s and why I will never do it again. So I think a lot of us in this stage of life have done some form of online dating, whether that was, it's funny that we say this, back in the day with Match.com, and then there was like OkCupid, things like that, to what it is now, which is all of these apps out there, which I'm not familiar with most of them. I think I've used one in the last 5 years or something like that. But I just kind of want to talk about why I won't do online dating anymore. And some people get really lucky with this. I've heard stories. I've seen comments on watching another video about how they met the love of their life, and some people have done that in their 30s. Some people have done it in their 70s. It just depends. And I think you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you get to your prince or your princess, if you're a man listening. Now, this is not just talking about the issues that I found with online dating and men in general, because this works both ways, and I'm sure there's lots of men out there that can speak to the crazy experiences that they've had with online dating and maybe why they don't want to do it anymore either. So if you're a Gen Xer like myself, or you were born in, at the end of the boomer area, so you're kind of like an early boomer, not quite a Gen Xer. If you've, grown up in that era of 70s and 80s and maybe even the very early 90s, you're almost out of the Gen X age at that point. But if you were around then, right, when we wanted to meet somebody, it was in a social situation and it was so easy. And yes, we were younger. I know, big difference there. But we did not have things like the internet. We didn't have social media. We didn't have online dating apps. And so in order to meet people, you literally had to go out and meet people face to face and see if there was some kind of connection. So online dating, yes, I have met people through online dating in the past. I think the first boyfriend I had that I met through online dating was probably in my mid-30s. And I did end up, in a relationship with him. And then I met, I think there was two other ones that I met through online dating, and we were in relationships for, years, and just moved on. It's not the conversation for this video. And that was through, I think one was maybe through Match, and one was maybe through OkCupid, and then one was through, it was like a Harley dating. I don't remember even what it was called anymore. I don't think it's around anymore, but because I, ride a motorcycle, and then I met somebody that rides a motorcycle because that's just what I prefer. Anyway, so I went through that, and then just, didn't date anybody for a while, and then found somebody through some heavy metal or something dating website. I don't even remember, meetmetalheads.com or something. I don't remember anymore. And, was dating that one for a while. And then that was the end of my last long-term relationship. And then I went out on, a date here or there. I don't really call it, the very first time I meet somebody, I don't really call it a date. It's like a meet and greet, right? And the problem that I found with doing that was the lack of honesty with meeting these men. And again, this is not bashing men, you guys. This goes both ways. I'm sure there's lots of men out there that have dealt with this as well. But people would meet me and they would say, "Oh my God, you look like your profile picture." And of course, at first I was like, well, yeah, like why wouldn't I? Because I'm putting my current picture on there. And then they would maybe tell me a story about how they met somebody that looked nothing like their profile picture, etc. And of course, after I ran into that a couple of times, I totally got it. So went to a meet and greet with one guy once, and in real life versus his profile picture was probably about 25 years in age difference, meaning he didn't look anything like what he did in his profile picture. He looked way older, way older. And to me, that was not being honest. And if you're going to start off meeting somebody by not being honest right out of the gate, what the hell is there after that, in my opinion? Nothing. Okay? At least not for me. I'm all about honesty and integrity and truth. And sometimes, people don't like to hear the truth, but that's because the society as a general has become soft, and I still keep speaking my truth because I will always do that. And I might not be liked for it sometimes. I don't care. I don't care if you like me. It doesn't matter to me. And then I went out with another guy on a meet and greet, and he was slender in his profile pic. But when I met him in person, not even close. Now, hey, that's cool. If I would have seen his actual profile picture of what he looked like, right? I probably wouldn't have been interested in him because it's just not what I'm interested in. But again, and it was like this shock, like, oh my God, okay. And I didn't even know it was him because he looked nothing like his profile picture, and he recognized me right away. So I'm walking around looking like an idiot because I can't find this person at this, coffee shop or whatever. And he flagged me down, and I was like, oh my God, is this really that guy? So again, this is, just what I've experienced. And I want to hear from you, men and women. I don't care what your age is. Did you get lucky? Did you find somebody? Did you end up with, your person? Or, were you married, divorced, widowed, any of these things? And then later on in life, you met somebody and that was your person. I would like to hear from people as to what their experiences have been. I've been out on meet and greets where, the guy has lectured me on why he's not interested in a serious relationship, and he doesn't like Klingons and this and that and the other thing. And then the next day, it's like I get 20 text messages from them, and then I get a pissed off phone call about, why aren't you answering my text messages? Or are you not interested in me? And it's like, red flag. I'm just going to keep raising my red flag. And it's like, yeah, just walk away. Because when I was younger, I might be a little bit more blind to some of the things that might have been red flags. But as I've gotten older, my bullshit meter has gotten really, really good at that. And one of the things with me is I'm super comfortable being with myself. I like myself. I like hanging out with myself. I like my solitude. Yes, I like to socialize, but I can go either way. I don't need to be in a relationship. A relationship doesn't complete me. I complete me. Okay. And I consider myself to have, have been successful in my adult years. I've got my shit together. I'm not messed up. I don't do drugs. I don't drink really. I mean, maybe once or twice a year. And I don't, I don't have all these mental problems or, whatever. And I'm a pretty even-keeled person, and that makes me an easy target for men that are looking for a misfix-it to take advantage of. They want somebody that's a wreck. They want somebody that's got all the problems, and they want that project, it seems. And I'm not a project, right? And I can't, I just, oh my God, I cannot be that way with somebody. I can't be like that total bitch of, whatever it is. And it doesn't mean like pretending I have a problem. I'm not talking about that, even though men seem to be attracted to that like moths to a flame. I just can't be that rude person. And maybe that is, what my downfall is. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not saying I've never had good relationships, because I did have a really good one in my very late 20s, early 30s, and he was a great guy. He was hilarious, made me laugh, and his parents were great. We had a really good relationship. But I was young at the time, and I was living in a very small town way up in northern Wisconsin, and I felt like I needed more at that time. And so I ended up moving to a big city, and then of course leaving the state for a while and just doing some things. That was me. And nowadays I probably wouldn't be quite that way, where I would be more inclined to throw away something like that. But of course I was young, I was foolish, I was stupid, ignorant, whatever. Anyway, so there have been some good relationships. Of course, him I met organically. I was working at a gas station, which was one of my favorite jobs, by the way. And he literally lived around the corner, and he used to come in there, every couple of days or whatever, get gas or get a soda. And that is literally how we met. And I actually asked him out. I went right to his house one day. He was outside mowing the lawn. And I drove up in my car, got out of my car, marched right up to him, and he shut the lawnmower off. And I literally did just asked him out. And we dated for a couple of years, I think, before I left and went to the big city in in southern Wisconsin. But yeah, that was one of those things where I didn't see it at the time, and hindsight is everything, right? But I think after being on this planet for 55, almost 56 years, I finally figured some shit out. And one of them is I'm not going to do the online dating anymore. I can't, because I tried a couple of those apps where you swipe left, swipe right, or whatever it is you do on them. And I was getting inundated on one with these extremely, extremely good looking men. Not that that matters. I'm just telling you, this was my experience. And they were all different, but they were all the same. Okay. They looked like they all could have been brothers. Does that make sense? It was really weird. And it was just beautiful messages they would send you. But then they would ask for your phone number. And when you wouldn't give it to them, they would get mad and either say something, or all of a sudden they would just block you. And it's like, well, what the hell's up with that? So I learned that that's just all bots. And so that fake stuff, and I don't know, I can't take that human experience and turn it into something stupid you do on your phone, and you swipe on something like, you know, I don't know, like, it doesn't make any sense to me, you guys. I'm old school. And yes, in 2025, I am going to get out there and do some more socializing. I get into maybe some meetup groups to meet people. And that's, not saying that I need to do that, but I'm going to try and do that because it would be, probably fortuitous to get me more involved in things now that I'm retired from my full-time job. Today's my first day in retiring from my full-time job. Friday was my last day. And yeah, so maybe I'll meet somebody organically. Maybe I won't. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to. And I'm perfectly cool hanging out by myself and doing things by myself and all of that fun stuff. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the reasons why I will never do online dating again. It just makes my skin crawl. And I'm sure, like I said, men, you've got lots of horror stories you can tell. Some of us women, what you've gone through, and it works both ways. And it works even in the gay community, because I've talked to people in that community, and I had some friends that were gay, and they would talk about that stuff too, and how crazy actually everything is, and how it's like there's so much fake stuff out there, and it's really sad, the degradation of society because of these things like social media and internet and cell phones, and that human experience and interaction seems to be going by the wayside, and we've got to fight for that, especially if you're old school, or even you have an old soul. Even if you're like 25 or 30 and that's what you prefer, that's cool too. But a lot of us that are Gen X or the late, boomers, meaning they were born at the end of that period, so they're the younger boomers, I guess. We, tend to, I think, wax nostalgic on that kind of stuff because it was so different. And some of it has to do with the fact that we were younger, obviously, but think of what it would be like for the young kids today in their early 20s. And everything is all cell phone, internet, social media related. How hard that must be for them to interact and form relationships and meet people organically. That's got to be hell. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't go to like dance clubs or anything like that to see how the young people act. I don't do that. Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to go undercover and just go hang out at some of these places and see what's going on out there in the real world and see how they're managing that, because it was so different. I mean, when we were younger, if you went to a bar, you were a man, you could meet 20 women a night. If you were a woman, you could meet 20 men a night. I'm not saying you went out with 20 men. I'm just saying you would meet and have all these different interactions with people. And there was all this socializing going on and just face-to-face contact. And you were able to see that person, smell that person, right? Because we're very, we use all of our senses when we interact with somebody. You were able to get that vibe off of them, kind of sense their aura, and maybe there was that electricity between the two of you. I mean, I will never forget those things when I was younger, you guys. I don't know about you, but I will never forget that. Where the butterflies would be so bad that I thought I was going to throw up, right? And the anticipation and the excitement of going out with somebody, or that phone call that you get, just, or the first kiss, all these crazy things, and it just feels like it's beaten out of you after all these years, and you feel like you're dead inside, and it's like, no, I want that. I would really like to have that hot romance again. I really would, but it would have to be with the right person, and it would have to be somebody that just jives with me on a lot of different levels of, where we're at in our lives. And sometimes opposites do attract. That's great. I mean, I get that. But again, it's not something that, I'm hanging on to that last piece of it and saying, yeah, if I don't get this, my life is not complete. No, I'm perfectly fine being by myself. But if it was to come across my path and I was there at the right time to grab hold of it and run with it, hell yeah, I would do it. So anyway, that's my little rant for today. Let's hear from you guys in this fabulous community. What do you do? Do you date? Do you not date? Did you give up dating? What are some of your good experiences? What are some of your bad experiences? Men and women, straight, gay, it doesn't matter. I want to hear from all of you. Let's chat about these things, because I think it's important that we have these discussions. And yeah, it sucks we got to do it on YouTube, but our audiences are all over the place. We're not just in our little town talking to people about this. This is the way it is. So we can have these conversations and talk about this stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. I probably won't do another video until after Christmas, because I'm going to go visit family and hang out for a few days. Taking the cats with me. I've got Radar sitting by me right now, hanging out. And yeah, so I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, wherever you're at in this big, beautiful world of ours. Be safe if you're traveling. Enjoy your time. Seize the moment. Be free. Peace on earth. And we'll talk soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.